Welcome to the Bold Encourager. I'm Rebecca. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're continuing the study of the powerful women of the Bible. And today we're going to be learning about Deborah. So let's get started. So we're in Judges 4 and 5, and we're talking about Deborah, who is a prophet, a judge, and a warrior. She has so many great qualities, and she is a leader in the Old Testament, which goes to show you that God can use anyone regardless if they're female or male. Everybody is equal in God's sight. And I know there's inequality sometimes in the world, but in God's kingdom, we are all equal. And he uses Deborah in leadership at this time. And so I just wanted to kind of go over the summary of it and then read some verses that mean a lot for this story and why she is this powerful woman of God. It's just such an amazing testament of God's faithfulness. So Deborah held court under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel and Ephraim. And so that's where she sat every single day and held court. So the Israelites heavily depended on her for her leadership during the time. And so throughout Judges, there's all these different leaders that God puts into place, and God put Deborah into place. And she was married, so she also had a husband, and he obviously had to support her leadership too. So let's read Judges 4, and we're reading verses 6 through 23. It's a big chunk of verses, but these verses are really important and really exciting. So let's get into it. She sent for Barak, son of Anamam, from Kadesh in Naphtali, and said to him, "The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you, go take with you 10,000 men of Naphtali and Zebulun, and lead them up to Mount Tabor. I will lead Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his troops to the Kishon River, and give him into your hands." Barak said to her, "If you go with me, I will go, but if you don't go with me, I won't go." "Certainly I will go with you," said Deborah, "but because of the course you are taking, the honor will not be yours, for the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman." So Deborah went with Barak to Kadesh. There Barak summoned Zebulun and Naphtali, and 10,000 men went up under his command. Deborah also went up with him. Now Heber, the Kenite, had left the other Kenites, the descendants of Habab, Moses' brother-in-law, and pitched his tent by the great tree in Zananim near Kadesh. When they told Sisera that Barak, son of Abinadab, had gone up to the Mount Tabor, Sisera summoned them from Harosheth Haggahim to the Kishon River, all his men and his 900 chariots fitted with iron. Then Deborah said to Barak, "Go, this is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone ahead of you?" So Barak went down Mount Tabor with 10,000 men following him at Barak's advance. The Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and army by the sword. And Sisera got down from his chariot and fled on foot. Barak pursued the chariots and army as far as Harosheth Haggahim, and all Sisera's troops fell by the sword. Not a man was left. Sisera, meanwhile, fled on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber, the Kenite, because there was an alliance between Jabin, king of Hazor, and the family of Heber, the Kenite. Jael went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Come, my lord, come right in. Don't be afraid." So he entered his tent, and she covered him with the blanket. "I am thirsty," he said. "Please give me some water." She opened a skin of milk, gave him a drink, and covered him up. "Stand in the doorway of the tent," he told her. "If someone comes by and asks you, 'Is anyone in there?' say no." But Jael, Heber's wife, picked up a tent peg and a hammer and went quietly to him while he lay asleep, exhausted. She drove the peg through his temple into the ground, and he died. Just then Barak came came by in pursuit of Sisera, and Jael went out to meet him. Come, she said, I will show you the man you're looking for. So he went in with her, and there lay Sisera with the tent peg through his temple, dead. On that day, God subdued Jabin, king of Canaan, before the Israelites, and the hand of the Israelite pressed harder and harder against Jabin, king of Canaan, until they destroyed him. Then we get into chapter 5, and all it is just a song celebrating what Deborah and Jael did. It was called the Song of Deborah. It's dedicated to Deborah and Barak, but really it mentions Deborah and Jael, the women, which was something you would not expect, because during that time, women did not go into battle. But here you have Deborah going into battle and prophesying that a woman would overtake the enemy. And she did. Jael, a housewife with no battle training, nothing, goes into battle. She tricks this guy into coming into the tent. He thinks that she's his ally, and she takes a peg and hammers it into his temple. So that just goes to show you something. God will use anyone. I don't care if you're a woman, man. I think sometimes there's this thing about, with equality, you think men have to be lowered or put down to make women equal. Then that's not true. We are all equal in God's sight. We shouldn't be putting down men or women in any way. Both women and men are equal in God's kingdom. So I really thought this was a great, great story. And Deborah being able to prophesy that and to be in leadership in such a time where she wouldn't typically be a leader just goes to show you God can do so many amazing things. Okay, so I was trying to find a tent peg. I don't imagine it being plastic, which most of our tent pegs are, but I imagine it being a little bit smaller, but like this, like a metal, this would be a metal tent peg. Imagine hammering this into someone's temple to overtake the enemy. What a brave soul Jael is. So really, there's two brave women in this story, Deborah and Jael. Basically in their kind of time frame, that would be frowned upon, what they did. But they did it anyway. Boldness at its finest. Two powerful women in the Bible that we have to just give massive kudos to for standing up for what was right and still doing it. So I hope if you were watching this video, you're inspired to know that you belong regardless of who you are. In God's kingdom, you belong. I don't care where it came from. I don't care what your past is. Jael was a housewife in a time where women were not treated equal. And yet she overtook that man and won the battle. Regardless of who you are, you have a calling in your life. And that's what this whole series is about. I don't care if you're a woman or a man, God will use you for all his glory. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please go ahead and please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, if you haven't followed me on social media, please follow me on social media. The links will be down below. And every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I will post a new Walk by Faith Wednesday video. And next week will be another powerful woman in the Bible. And you do not want to miss it. So go ahead and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Well, I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope you stay encouraged.